Hey YouTube, this is Whiteout from Team Shadowverse coming to you tonight. We actually went to our locals today as a team of 6 instead of the usual 5, which was quite surprising. And I wanted to profile my Glad Beast deck. I told you guys last week I would take it again, and I did. It actually did a lot better than last week. I went 3-1 and actually got a seat at the top 8 and went to top 4. So I'm not done with the deck. This is just a version 2 that I ran at the tournament today. I'm quite proud of it. I still had a problem with freaking Chaos today, but that will be solved next week from what I'm planning to use. But without further ado, here goes the deck. First, same as last, 2 Gladiator Beast Laquari, basic beater of the deck, allows you to get over most anything. Tagged out becomes 21. 2 E-Quest, basically to recycle any of your war chariots that hit the graveyard, or any other Gladiator Beast monster for that matter. 16, not that high, but he is a good card. 2 Gladiator Beast from Marmillo. Basically, this card actually saved me a lot today. He pops some face-up monster when he's summoned, so that's good. He managed to take out a lot of my opponent's crap. I even went against the Hopeless build, and he managed to get rid of the Darkness Metal that was flooding the build. 1 Sam Knight, just to get your chariots in your hand and everything like that. Really good card. I wish he was higher, but, you can't argue with everything. 1 Bestiari, just because it's at 1. If it was at 3, hell, it'd be at 3. 1 Darius in the main deck. You'll see why in a second, but, just to keep everything going. I actually only really needed 1 in this build. He allowed me to get Gyzerus and Heraclinos on the field a lot quicker because of the way I set the deck up this time. So, quite happy with him just at 1. 1 Hop Loomis, when he's tagged in, he becomes 24 defender. He actually saved me quite a few times because of his high defense, which is always a good thing. 1 Sekitor, I still haven't found a second one, but I will upgrade it to a second one once I get it, or at least side it. But this card's great, especially when you need to swarm the field for Heraclinos, or even Gyzerus, or even my new addition in the extra deck, but we'll get to that in a second. Next we have 3 Test Tigers. This card is broken to no end because he's a special summon as long as you control Glad Beast, and he allows you to tag out. I did start the duels today with only 2 in the main deck, which is probably what hurt me against Chaos in the first duel. I could have had him, but the card I had substituted out for the Test Tiger really, I pulled it when I needed a Test Tiger, so I just decided to put the 3 back in, and I left it at that for the entire tournament, and it proved more effective than the card I put in. Alright, that's it for the monsters. Same as last time, 16, not very high, but gets the job done. Next we have 2 D-Fissures. Standard, whenever a monster sent to the graveyard is removed from stead, it seems how the Test Tigers are really the only thing that gets sent to the graveyard. This card's great. Now here's my new addition. I got tired of my Glad Beast getting ran over, so I decided to do something about it, and I added in some Burden of the Mighties, which actually proved to be quite useful. Brought them all down to their levels, and even lower in some cases when I had both of them on the field. Allowed me to get over a lot of their crap, They really didn't have an answer for this, and this actually stalled a lot with Laquari at 21. They couldn't really do nothing. Some starters, and it goes to 17, so it was awesome. Next, because the monster count is so low, 3 Gladiator Beast Proving Grounds. Add a level 4 lower Glad Beast from your deck to your hand. Allows you to search out, get that monster, that specific Glad Beast you need. Always a good card, always a good thing to thin out, especially when the monster count's low. Next, last time I did 2 smashings. This time I main deck 3 smashings. It actually proved a little bit more effective. I did come across 1 Jinzo, and the extra smashing did help because I'd drawn it, and it was my last one on the deck. So that actually allowed me to win the duel. I'm quite happy with that. 3 is a good build. I might take them out for my next build just because I'm still in the testing phase of this deck, so we'll see where it goes. Next, 1 Book of Moon. Standard. There's not really much to explain. Staple in any deck. 1 Dark Hole, staple. 1 Heavy Storm, staple. That's it for the field, the spell cards. Now we'll go on to the traps. Now we are on to the MVP of this deck today, War Chariot, and I actually upgraded it to 3 instead of 2, which actually proved to be quite effective because I needed that second one back to back, which was actually very good. Helped me against a Bengay OTK and even Hopeless OTK. So, great card. Very happy with that 3. I'm going to leave it. Same as last time. 2D prisons. Nothing special about those. Just to get over anything that might, can be destroyed, Stardust, whatever. There when you need it. Not when you don't. 2 bottomless trap hole. Staple in this deck. It's really actually is effective, especially when you come across, stuff that you really don't want on the field. Great for clearing. New addition to the deck. I was running D-Tactics last time, but this time I tried Mirror Force and it actually proved to be quite effective. Just for preserving the monsters. I didn't use it every duel. It sat in my hand most of the time, but when it was there, I needed it, which is really what I wanted. Next, 2 Wabakus, which is actually surprising for my Glad Beast build. I didn't actually even realize it until after the tournament was over, but I did get that far with only 2 in the deck. I sided out a few times, but I didn't make any changes to the Wabakus, which was actually a good thing. With the Burden of the Mighties, Wabaku just becomes a secondary card, so that's good. And then last but not least, the 2 Solemn Warnings. This card, it did help, and it also hurt. I'm probably going to take it out for what's on the side, which I will be going over with. But either way, still a good card. Nothing, to argue with it. Next, for the extra deck, same as last time, 2 Gladiator Beasts Gyzeris. Pop whenever you need it. Nothing's changed there. 1 Gladiator Beast Heraclinos, nothing's changed there. Control back row. I actually OTK'd with him twice today, so it's pretty good. And last but not least, the new addition, Gladiator Beast Esadari. He actually came in very handy today because I had a lot of times where I couldn't get specifically Liquari or Bestiari, and I needed a high beater, and he was the answer to the problem. So I'm very happy with him. He answered a lot of the calls. Now we're going to go on to the side deck, which is 15 cards exactly. I was trying a new Gladiator beatdown with the Burden of the Mighties, and actually proved quite effective. It was actually 2 Octavius. He proved quite useful in beating down, even though he didn't tag out, but it still allowed me to get over what I need and pop the back row. My second Darius, I wasn't main decking 2. Because I really didn't have a need for it, but he was there when I needed it to. 1 Granmole. This card actually proved to save my ass in the 1 duel where the guy had swarmed the field with synchros and I couldn't get around it. I played stall with Granmole and it allowed me to get around everything, return them all to the extra deck. Very good. 2 Gladiator Beasts for Sprite. Allowed me, whenever I drew into the Octavius, to put them back in the deck and get 3 extra cards. Can't argue with that. 1 Coliseum Cage of the Gladiator Beast. This card was I used it during 1 duel when I had to beat somebody down with the Gladiator Beast. Combine that with the burdens and it turned into a non-stop killer. 1 Field Barrier just to protect the Coliseum. It's all it said. They can't overlap anything. They go to destroy Field Barrier or Coliseum, and Field Barrier gets popped instead. So very good. 1 Monster Reborn. I actually am going to take this out because I really don't need it. I had no use for it whatsoever, so it didn't see any action today. My 3rd Wabaku, just sitting there just in case I need it. 2 Trap Stuns. I didn't really use these today, but there was a few times where I could have, so I'm going to try and get more offensive with them in the future. 1 Defensive Tactics. Last time I was running 2. I bumped it down to 1, but it's still proving. I used it 1 time today. It's proving good. 2 Compulsory Evacuation Device. I actually should have cited these out for the warnings on a few accounts, but I didn't. So I'll probably do that next time. And then, last but not least, a card that actually did save me in 2 duels and would have won me a 3rd one against a Twilight deck, but it didn't, was Summon Limit. Because with the way the Glads are set up, you can control the field with just 2. You don't need any more than that. And, everything else is mass summon, mass summon, mass summon. Force them to use up their 2 summons. They can't go any farther, so it forces them to think, and you can cause them to trip up and make a mistake. But this actually did put a pressure on Hopeless too, which I was very happy with. But anyway, that's my deck profile, my Glads version 2. I hope you guys like it. It's a lot better than the last one. I'm very happy with how it happened this week. I will be taking it again next week in a new Macros Monarch format. I want to test that out to see how it works. But anyway, let me know what you think. Comment, rate, subscribe. Good night, YouTube.